Hey everybody. Okay, so today's lesson, I actually am going to teach you using some notes. So I encourage you to follow along with your notebook paper or rewatch this video if you get confused. So we have been working a lot with linear equations. We are so used to y equals mx plus b, which is our standard slope-intercept form. But now I'm going to actually introduce you to something that's called standard form. Still a line, but now we're going to take it from standard form and turn it into slope-intercept form, which is what you are used to. So if I move my face over here, here is what we're going to do. If you notice on our screen here that we have, I'm going to kind of move my mouse around so you can see, we have our slope-intercept form, which is what we are most used to, y equals mx plus b. Both of these are going to form straight lines on a graph, but standard form looks a little different. So here's a couple of things that you can notice. It is ax plus by equals C. So you'll notice a couple of things. X and Y are on the same side. A, B, and C are just numbers. Okay. Now, standard form is a little picky. A, think like we always want A plus. A has to be positive. So if it is -2, that's not okay. So your A always has to be an A plus. Okay, so today I'm going to actually teach you how to take it from standard form and turn it into slope-intercept form. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is show you what you are going to have to do. So you're going to be given an equation in standard form, and you're going to have to do these 4 questions. So you're going to have to tell me what it is in slope-intercept form. You're going to have to tell me the slope, the y-intercept, and today you also will have to tell me the x-intercept. So let me explain a couple of those things. If we get into slope-intercept form, it's going to be really easy to tell what our slope is and what our y-intercept is. In standard form, though, it's really hard. I don't know what the slope is. I don't know what the y-intercept is. It's not in the right form. That's why we need to change it into slope-intercept form. One quick thing to remember about our intercepts, y-intercept, which we've gotten really used to, it's where it hits the y-axis right there, and that's where x is 0. Now, an x-intercept, which we have not looked for before, happens when the y is 0. So we'll have to remember that when we go to find those at the end. Okay, so here's my example for you. Okay, I'm going to move my head over a little bit. Here is our standard form. So we have 6x plus 3y equals -9. So I have an A, which is positive, it's 6. My B is 3, and my C is -9. Okay, that's in standard form. So our job is to turn it into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Now, I found this cute little note sheet, and it kind of gives us our 2 steps. The first is the exciting move. Exciting move. You do that first, okay? And the exciting move is to actually subtract the x from both sides. Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. Okay, so if I slide this over, you'll see here that I've subtracted 6x from the left side, causing it to cancel out. And I have subtracted from the right side as well. Okay, then here, all I'm doing is simplifying. I'm left with just 3y on the left equals, now I have a -6, and then I brought down the -9. Step 2 is the great divide. Okay, so we have the exciting move and the great divide. So the great divide is because our y is not by itself. This is not in slope-intercept form. I have a times 3 in front of it. So I actually need to go and divide everything by that number in front. The reason I have to divide everything is I have to keep the equation balanced. So I have to divide every single thing, every number by 3. So this is the great divide. So when I divide 3 divided by 3, it actually cancels it out, leaving y by itself. Okay, now careful here. We need to make sure that we are dividing both numbers here. So I have -6 divided by 3, and then I also need to do -9 divided by 3. Okay, now if I go ahead and look, I'm trying to do both of those numbers. Y is now by itself, which is the goal. My m, or my slope now, -6 divided by 3 is -2. And -9 divided by 3 is -3. By doing the exciting move and then the great divide, I have now gotten it into slope-intercept form. Okay, so if you follow my mouse, I'm in the far right corner here. That was my goal, was to put it in slope-intercept form, because now look how much easier it is. The slope, it's just the number right in front of the x. So my slope is -2. Because I have it in the right form, it's really easy to find my y-intercept. My b, or my number on the outside, is -3. Now this one, we have to solve for. That's why in the previous slide, I told you x-intercept is where the y is 0. So instead, we need to substitute, instead of y, we're going to put in 0. So I use this equation up here, and instead of y, I put in 0. Now we have the 2-step. So I'm going to actually solve for that x value. That's my x-intercept. So watch here. First, looks like I'm going to add 3 to both sides, okay, causing it to cancel out on the right. Then simplifying that, 3 equals -2x. I really need that x by itself so I'll know what the intercept is. So I need to divide both sides by -2, causing it to cancel out, getting my x by itself. So my final x value is -3 halves, or -3/2. That is my x-intercept, okay? Now, let me review that, okay? Standard form. We have to do the exciting move by subtracting. The reason it's subtraction is you are moving the variable, so you need to do the inverse, okay? It's always supposed to be positive, so that's why you're always going to be able to subtract first. Then the great divide, you don't always have to do the great divide. If y is already by itself, you're done, okay? You might only have to do one step. Then looking at your y equals mx plus b, or slope-intercept form, you're going to be able to find the slope, the y-intercept, right away. The x-intercept you'll have to solve for, okay? So on our Schoology folder, I have the notes here for you. I encourage you to use these and look at these. I'll keep putting them in as a resource if you need help. I think that's going to be really helpful. Now the worksheet today, which you know the worksheet is always optional. I do think it would be really helpful today. It's all about taking standard form into slope-intercept form. So this one, for example, you're just finding the mistake. These ones, there's 3 problems here, all in standard form. but you need to turn them into slope intercept form like we did in the notes. So I do think that the worksheet would be really helpful today, but remember the worksheet is always optional. I do have 3 Schoology questions for an exit ticket, just so I can see how you're doing. Remember, the best way to learn this is to hear it, see it, and then try it yourself, okay? Tomorrow, we're gonna do the reverse and take it from slope intercept form to standard form, okay? As always, you can call me on Zoom or Google Hangout if you have any questions, okay? I'm gonna find out how to stop this recording.